At 73, I watched my son Michael and his wife Rebecca steal my TV, fridge, and even the paintings I cherished for 30 years, claiming I didn't need them for their new house. Little did they know, their greed would freeze them in their tracks, and my life would unravel into a shocking revenge that reclaimed my worth. Stay tuned for a tale of betrayal, resilience, and an unexpected second chance. My life shattered the morning I saw my son Michael step out of that truck with his wife, Rebecca, their voices cutting through the silence of my home. "This is for our new house. You don't need this anymore," Rebecca declared, her tone as cold as the steel frame behind her. They moved like thieves, hauling away my television, refrigerator, furniture, and the paintings that had adorned my walls for 3 decades, each piece a thread of the life I'd woven with Michael's father. I stood frozen, watching them drive off, only to slam on the brakes at their new gate, as if guilt or fate had seized them. At 73, after 50 years devoted to my son, I never imagined he'd turn so cruel. It began with loss. When Michael was 15, his father died in a horrific accident, leaving me a 23-year-old widow with empty hands and a fractured heart. That rainy night, returning from the hospital, I clung to my son through my tears, vowing he'd never want for anything. What a fool I was to think a mother's love guarantees its return. I became a seamstress, working tirelessly in a cramped back room. My fingers bore scars from needle pricks, my eyes strained under a flickering yellow lamp, but every stitch was for Michael. The hum of my sewing machine lulled me to sleep at dawn as I crafted sweet 16 dresses, school uniforms, and curtains for neighbors, all to secure his future. When Michael dreamed of engineering, I sold my wedding diamond ring, my grandmother's gold earrings, and the watch from my first anniversary. Items heavy with sentiment, traded for $1,200 at a pawn shop, wrapped in a white handkerchief. That money covered his first tuition payment. For 5 years, I labored 12 hours daily, my hands deforming, my shoulders stooping. Yet his excited calls, "Mom, I'm learning so much," made the bleeding fingers and sleepless nights worthwhile. I'd watch him study, pride swelling despite the pain. His graduation day remains vivid. I wore my wine-colored dress, the last elegant piece I owned after selling others for his fees. Clapping until my hands ached, I beamed as he donned his black gown, whispering, "Thanks, Mom. I never would have made it without you." That photo on my nightstand was my treasure, a promise of a shared future. But life twists promises into shadows. Michael landed a $3,000 a month job at a construction firm, and I envisioned fixing our old house or traveling to places we'd dreamed of. "I'm going to buy you a new house soon, Mom," he'd say during visits. Yet those visits dwindled. Calls grew sparse, his voice distant, as if I were a burden in his rising world. Weekly turned to monthly, then occasional, always with excuses: work, projects, meetings. I kept sewing, saving, dreaming he'd relieve me of the needle, but hope faded. One day, he arrived with a nervous smile, trembling hands gripping my kitchen table. "Mom, I want you to meet someone special," he said. Hope flared, perhaps a daughter-in-law to share my care, grandchildren to fill the silence. Then Rebecca entered. Tall and thin, with perfectly styled blonde hair and claw-like red nails, she wore a coral dress worth more than my wardrobe. Her heels hammered my cement floor, her contemptuous gaze sweeping my humble home. "Mom, this is Rebecca, my girlfriend," Michael mumbled, his voice apologetic. I wiped my aproned hands to greet her, but she grazed my fingers with distaste, wiping hers with a tissue. "Nice to meet you, ma'am," she muttered, eyes averted. "Sit down." "I'll make coffee," I offered, forcing cheer despite a tightening chest. Whispers drifted from the living room as I boiled water. "Michael, did you really grow up here?" Rebecca asked, loud enough to sting. "It's temporary, love. We're saving for our house," he replied, shame lacing his tone. Returning with my best porcelain cups, I faced her rejection. "I don't drink coffee. Do you have organic green tea or imported water?" I offered tap water, feeling diminished. "Oh, I'm not thirsty," she said with a fake smile, her cold eyes unyielding. Her visit brimmed with barbs. "How long since you painted? Is this sofa antique? No air conditioning?" Each question a slap Michael didn't deflect, his embarrassment aimed at me. "Michael told me you're a seamstress," she said, eyeing my calloused hands. "How quaint. Must be hard to get by." "I do all right," I replied, dignity straining. "Well, at least Michael doesn't need support now," she added, a dagger to my heart. His weak, "Mom will always be important," faded under her possessive arm. "Time for your own family," she insisted. Months of torture followed. Rebecca isolated Michael, canceling visits, intercepting calls with, "He's busy," or "I'll tell him later." Whispers like, "Your mom's dependent," and "A mother lets him fly," poisoned him. His hugs turned mechanical, smiles forced, calls rushed. "How are you?" I'd ask. "Fine. Busy." "Later," he'd reply, fading into silence. Rebecca's solo visit came uninvited. Sewing a wedding dress, I heard her heels. "Mother-in-law, I need to talk," she said, perching on my sofa's edge. "We're marrying, buying a $200,000 house. But we need to adjust expenses." Confusion clouded me. "Michael spends on you, visits, medicine, money. A loving mother wants him to prosper," she cooed venomously. "I've always wanted his best," I said, lost. "Then stop being a burden." "He needs to focus on us," she countered. "Burden?" I gasped. "I worked for him." "This is about now," she said, crossing her legs. "He's mine, not divided by you." Tears blurred my vision. "I just want calls, visits." "That's the problem," she sighed. "He no longer belongs to you." Her manipulation deepened. "You remind him of sacrifices, emotional blackmail," she accused. Doubt gnawed. Had my love become chains? "Give him space." "Refuse his help," she demanded. "Financially," I echoed. "He helps willingly." "He feels obligated," she insisted. "Stop." I refused his next offer, each rejection tearing my heart, believing it was for his happiness. Michael noticed. "Mom, you seem different," he worried. "Busy sewing," I lied, swallowing glass. "Why no visits?" he pressed. "Orders," I deflected, recalling her words. Rebecca twisted it. "She's fine, independent." He believed her. Months passed in a silent nightmare, sewing without joy, eating without taste, sleeping without rest. The house, once alive with him, became a mausoleum. His wedding announcement broke me. "We're marrying in 3 months," he said, sad-smiled. I hugged him, memorizing his scent. "Be happy," I whispered. The ceremony was alienating. Rebecca radiant, Michael avoiding me. At the reception, her friends encircled them, their world excluding mine. "You've played your part," her eyes sneered as she accepted my congratulations. Post-wedding, visits ceased. "Busy fixing the house," he excused. 3 bedrooms, big yard, he boasted, each detail a stab to my inadequate home. "When moving?" I asked. 2 months, he said, pausing. "We need your TV, fridge, paintings. Too big for you," he rehearsed. "They're my memories." I protested. "Selfish, Mom." "We're starting life," he countered. Defeated, I agreed. The truck day arrived. They took everything: TV, fridge, paintings, Rebecca directing like a queen. "You don't need this," she said. Michael's hug was hollow. "Visit soon," he lied. Watching them drive off, I felt buried alive. The empty house echoed with ghosts, faded wall spots, a bare fridge corner, a silent TV stand. Nights were torture without distractions, food spoiled daily, and loneliness consumed me. Linda's concern and charity meals marked my rock bottom. Then, a letter arrived, cream envelope, elegant script. Mr. Martinez's firm sent it, with Vincent Herrera's handwriting. My first love. Widowed, lonely, he'd searched 50 years for me. I never stopped loving you, he wrote, offering a partnership. His photo, his wealth, his home. Hope bloomed. I accepted, transforming with his support. When Michael, now destitute after Rebecca's betrayal, called, I forgave but set boundaries. With Vincent, I rebuilt, founding a charity for abandoned women, proving it's never too late.